Hello and welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. Again, I apologize for the sunglasses. I'm still not 100%. I I just did a video of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales. And after I got home from watching the movie tonight, I needed a movie fucking rehab. So I put on a movie that for years I've absolutely loved. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. Ironically enough, the first time I ever saw this movie, I was dealing with a migraine, and right now I've got a migraine, hence the shades, and why I'm not as loud and excited as I usually am. I'm very lethargic right now. So the movie is Rain Man. Yeah, let's talk about Rain Man. Okay, so quick rundown of the story. There will be spoilers. Because there's always spoilers. I should just call it spoilers with Rico DiGiorgio. Um, Quick rundown. Tom Cruise, bear with me. Tom Cruise plays a young man who deals with cars. He basically is in business with cars, and he finds out that his estranged father has died. He hasn't spoken to his father in 10 years or something, and so he goes back to Cincinnati, Ohio, as opposed to Cincinnati, California, to deal with the will. Finds out he's been left the car and a bunch of prized rose bushes that his father had in his inheritance. But the money of $3 million wasn't left to him. It was left to um, a trust. And the reason why he and his father didn't have a relationship is because when he was a kid, he, asked his dad if he can borrow his father's prized Buick. His father said no. So he went with his friends, took a joyride, took it took it anyways. Excuse me. His father reported the car stolen, not that his son had taken the car without permission, just stolen, and left him to be in prison for 2 days. When he got out of prison, um, he ran away from home and never spoke to him again. The beginning of the film, he tries to track down where this money is and who is in control of the money. Goes to banks, finally tracks it down to an institute, um, and he deals with the head of the institute, who's a friend of his father's, and he refuses to tell him who has the money. Blah 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 blah. In the middle of all that, Tom Cruise's girlfriend, played by Valeria Golino, Italian actress and an Italian in this film, not trying to fake an American accent, she's Italian. She's waiting outside in the Buick, and Dustin Hoffman, who is autistic, um, gets in the car and sort of introduces himself as this is his car, essentially. And Tom Cruise is like, who the fuck is this guy? And the doctor says, Raymond is your brother. And he's like, I don't have a brother. So he finds out he has this long lost, older, autistic brother named Raymond. So he finds out that the money has been willed to him. And Tom Cruise, I never particularly thought was a good actor. I never thought he was talented. But he really, really shines in this because he's a fucking prick. And we kind of hate him. He's rude to Raymond. He's rude to his girlfriend. He's a cocky bastard because he kind of had to be. He had to grow up and be independent because he didn't have a father. Really, I mean, he didn't have a relationship with his father. He had to grow up very quickly. and he's kind of greedy, and he is very business oriented. He kind of comes off like a like an agent. Yeah, I mean, the only other time I was actually a fan of Tom Cruise's acting was in um, Tropic Thunder, where he plays a media mogul. He's good for that. I mean, Tom Cruise has comedic timing. He just needs to stop doing the pieces of shit that he does and being so megalomania that he kind of comes off as. But he's great in this. So he kind of kidnaps Raymond from the Institute. I mean, he Raymond is a volunteer patient. He could leave any time, but he also needs very specific care. He lives in a world of his own. Anything out of his normal um, routine disrupts him and causes severe anxiety. And when he's severely anxious, he rocks and moans, and he recites "Who's on First" by Abbott and Costello. Which, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I'm a big fan of Abbott and Costello. So I remember watching this and looking at my dad, being like, they're talking about Abbott and Costello. I know Abbott and Costello. I like Abbott and Costello. So I kind of, at a young age, sort of related to Rain Man because, you know, when he's nervous, he is sort of rocking and moaning and doing "Who's on First." And as a joke, whenever I'm kind of like annoyed or frustrated, I'll go, "Who's on first?" Just fucking "Who's on first?" It's kind of a weird thing that I do, and I guess I sort of lifted that without realizing it from Rain Man. Um, so the intent is that Charlie, Tom Cruise, is going to hold on to Raymond until he gets $1.5 million, you know, half of the inheritance, to pay off his debts. And he's got all these business deals that are just not going through, and everything. So he has to cover the money that he's about to lose, or he's going to lose his business. The problem with that is now he has to deal with. He's never known his brother. He doesn't know anything about him really, and Raymond has to deal with the fact that he lives in a world of his own. You know, he is, you know, he's constantly, you know, 5 minutes to Wapner, 5 minutes to Wapner, 4 minutes to Wapner, definitely 4 minutes to Wapner. He's very rigid and strict with his routine. So what should be a 3-hour flight from Ohio to Los Angeles ends up these two brothers having to go across the country in this Buick, because Raymond is terrified of flying because he has an exceptional memory and has remembered every airline crash. So he assumes that once they're going to get in a plane, it's going to crash. And there's a really funny scene where Tom Cruise is just losing his fucking. He's like, "We have to get on the fucking plane. Like, get on the fucking plane." And Raymond starts screaming and banging his fucking head, which is something that I have seen videos of people who are autistic doing when anything is just not going their way. They're not having a temper tantrum. It's just they are so just they can't deal. They just can't handle what's going on. You know, it's not a tantrum. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It's them just reacting in a way that they just don't know how to react. So he refuses to fly, so they end up having to drive. And now Charlie has to deal with all these random quirks and rules that Raymond is always insisting on, and he's doing it very non-emotionally. Meaning Raymond, he's very kind of cut off. He doesn't look at Charlie. He's always, yeah, definitely have to go to Kmart. We have to go to Kmart. There's a scene where they're driving, in the middle of an argument, Raymond just says, "And I definitely don't have my underwear." And Charlie's like, what are you talking about? I gave you a pair of fresh underwear this morning." He's like, those are not my underwear. My underwear comes from Kmart in Cincinnati, Ohio. Definitely, these are not. I got boxer shorts. These are too tight. And he pulls the underwear out of his pocket. He's like, what do you do? He's like, we have to go to Kmart. He's like, oh, we're not going. Fuck, we're not going to Cincinnati. We're not. No, that's final. And he's screaming at him. He's like, did you fucking hear what I said? Shut up. He's like, Kmart. Definitely have to go to Kmart. Definitely. And you can't help but fucking laugh because the situation's so ridiculous that they're arguing about going to Cincinnati. They're not even arguing. Charlie's arguing. But Raymond is so, he doesn't understand the concept of normal situations and normal behavior that he has to go to Kmart. He has to get his underwear from Kmart in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the corner of Oak or where the fuck. He lists the address numerous times, and in his frustration, Charlie just grabs the underwear, throws it out the fucking Buick. He's like, of course you threw your underwear on the your underwear's on the highway. Like, I remember watching this just being so transfixed with these characters, particularly with Tom Cruise, because Dustin Hoffman, as talented and amazing of an actor as he has the juicy role. He has the role which is he is, no matter what he does, he's interesting. Because he's always going to list off some mathematical equation. He's going to know facts and numbers. Whatever he says is inviting. He's not boring. And Charlie is the audience. We don't know Rain Man. We don't know Raymond. We don't know who he is. We don't know what he's capable of. We are thrown off by his lack of norm. So Tom Cruise has the harder job, which is to grow. I mean, he's a young prick. He's an asshole in the beginning of the film. His girlfriend leaves him in the film because she does not like how he's treating Raymond. And he is now stuck with his brother that he never knew he had. And it was all about greed. It was all about him getting his fucking half because it's what he's owed to him. Because his father fucked him, blah, 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 blah. Fucked him over, not fucked him. So, Tom Cruise grows. At the end of the film, you believe there's a genuine love for these two brothers. These guys that never knew, Charlie didn't know he'd existed. With the exception of thinking of, he had a childhood memory of an imaginary friend who he called the Rain Man. And when he was a little kid, he was scared or upset, the Rain Man would sing to him. Turns out it was just him not being able to pronounce Raymond. And he came out Rain Man. So that's where the title comes from. So you see this growth with Tom Cruise, and it's actually, he's really the one who shines. Because think of it like this. He's the straight man. And the straight man has the hard job. The straight man has to make the comedian interesting. He has to set up the punchline for the comedian to deliver the punchline. The best way of explaining this is I'll lift a quote from Tom Cruise in the movie. He finally gets frustrated. He's like, Raymond, you're never going to get who's on first because that's the joke. It's comedy. The joke is who is on first. And at the same time, Raymond is babbling because he's nervous. He's going, that's the man's name, that's whose name. Yeah, definitely, what are you asking me for? I'm asking you. He's doing the whole who's on first routine. And Tom Cruise is like, dude, it's not a riddle, man. Like, when you do it, you're not funny. You're the comedy routine of Abbott and Abbott. And that's what Tom Cruise is. Tom Cruise is the Abbott. Not to say that every time Dustin Hoffman says anything, it's funny. It's just Tom Cruise is a straight man. And he has a hard job, and he does a great job in this. I mean, that's really what I miss of Tom Cruise's acting. I mean, he sort of sold out and did the whole Mission Impossible thing and became a mega star. And, I just haven't seen a good movie of his, with the exception of, The Last Samurai, I thought was really good. And Tropic Thunder. So, they go on this cross country road trip, and they're driving for a week. At one point, they can't drive because Raymond is terrified of the highway because he sees construction. He sees an accident, so he flips out. They can't take the major highway. They go on a secondary road, and then they don't go out when it's raining. Raymond despite the fact that his nickname is Rain Man, he refuses to go out in the rain. So they're constantly, for Charlie, taking forever just to drive back to LA. And you see this frustration. You know his business is going to fail. And ultimately it does. All the cars that he has are repossessed, and all the people that had given him loans want their money back. They want the down payments back, blah, 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 blah. So during this whole time while they're bonding, slowly and surely, he sees that Raymond has these he has a great ability to be able to perform mathematics in a matter of seconds, all in his head, without the use of a calculator. They stop, in his frustration, they stop at a psychiatrist's office. And the psychiatrist is like, I heard about this, and he pulls out a calculator and asks Raymond some really complicated questions, like 123 times 321, and he just lists off it in a matter of seconds. Just not even a matter of seconds, just a second. At one point, they're at a diner, and he eats with toothpicks, and so he is desperately wanting toothpicks. And Bonnie Wright, is that her name? Bonnie Hunt or Bonnie Wright? Bonnie Wright. Plays a waitress. Tries getting the box of toothpicks, and all the toothpicks spill. And Raymond counts them all out in seconds. He just says 82, 82, 82. And he's like, 82 what, Raymond? He's like, toothpicks. He's like, there's a lot more than 82 toothpicks. It's like 200, of course, there's 246 toothpicks. And he's like, how many are in the box? He's like, 250. He's like, pretty close. And as they're walking out, she's like, there's 4 left in the box. So he just counts them out in seconds. So now that he realizes that he has an amazing memory and has an amazing mathematical mind, Charlie takes him to Vegas to count cards to make a killing, and they make up with like $86,000, cover his 80 grand debt, get his Rolex back that he had to pawn, all that shit. And in the middle of all this, other crazy shit happens, but there's a really beautiful scene. Raymond mistakes seeing a hooker, and the hooker sort of like asks him out on a date. He takes it as a legitimate, like, yeah, we're definitely going to go on a date. Definitely. I'm going out with Iris. Iris is sparkly. And Charlie's kind of humoring him. He's like, yeah. One of these days, you have to learn how to dance on a date. He's like, definitely have to learn how to dance. He's like, well, I'm not going to teach you how to fucking dance. He's like, definitely have to learn how to dance right now. Definitely. So it's a really touching scene where Charlie and Raymond dance. Brother, it's younger brother helping older brother, and they slow dance in this Las Vegas hotel room to the tune of Etta James's song "At Last." And it's touching because he's Tom Cruise is teaching him how to step, and he's like, okay, so you're gonna lead, you're gonna hold me, and Raymond's autism prevents him from being close to people. He doesn't like being touched. Whenever he's touched, he hits himself in the head. So there's a couple scenes where he's like, Raymond, you're gonna have to touch me. If you want to learn how to dance, you gotta touch me. He's like, move your feet. You gotta look up at me. Everything's fine. And so it's just this nice little scene. And then Charlie is so, he's like, wow, you did a good job. He's happy, and Raymond's, yeah, he's smiling. He's like, you want to give me a hug? Yeah. Because he always says yeah. Because it's an automatic verbal tick. He's like, Raymond, yeah. Do you know what you're doing? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Are you lying? Yeah. He just says yeah. So he's like, do you want to give me a hug? Yeah. So he gives him a hug, and Raymond freaks out. And it shocks us back into realizing Charlie wants. He never, you know, his mother died when he was 2, and his father was never really there emotionally for him. And he just found out his brother who is unable to show emotion, but he still needs emotion. He still wants emotion. He's a very emotional guy. He's yelling and raving and outbursts and all that. He wants an older brother. Now that he knows he has a brother, he wants to be close to him. A reoccurring thing that he says is, "Why didn't anybody tell me that I had a brother? I don't understand why nobody told me I had a brother." He wants a brother. He misses. He has a very sad life, even though he flaunts his wealth and he's got a lavish house in L.A. He's lonely, and he doesn't know how to show emotion. That's something that's similarity with these two brothers have a problem with emotion and opening themselves up. But for Charlie, he's explosive, and for Raymond, it's implosive. He keeps it all just deep in. And then the emotion, when people come at him and want to give him a hug or anything, he explodes in a negative way. I'm not going to ruin the ending. And trust me, there are plenty of scenes that I have not ruined. The whole movie is a phenomenal film. Easily 5 stars. I can rewatch this movie again and again and again and again, and laugh and cry and just appreciate Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise and Barry Levinson's directing. Barry Levinson has a cameo in it towards the end. Nice little role. The supporting cast is great. I mean, it feels like it is a road trip movie, but it's really just a movie about a bond of 2 brothers that didn't have anything. It's all about a growth for Charlie, and it shows briefly Raymond no longer being an imaginary best friend, but becoming a real person. Dustin Hoffman earned his Oscar. It's very, very well done. The music is very good too, and I actually, by coincidence, because the last review I did was of a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which the theme is from Hans Zimmer. This was actually Hans Zimmer's first score for a film. I didn't realize that until I did some trivia reading up tonight for Rain Man. Go see Rain Man. Fantastic film. I love it, and I will give it 5 stars, and I'll rewatch it again and again. Definitely give it 5 stars. Definitely. All right, guys. I'm exhausted, and my head hurts, but I love you all. I hope this will. I hope this will calm you guys down and satiate the wanting and needing of more Rico'S Rants. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and share, and please have a good night. Love you guys. Bye.